good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. I've saved myself because I didn't have any volume or any sound or anything in the last couple of minutes, and I forgot to turn my light off. Silly me. How's everyone doing? Got a shitty eye. Being trolled again. Amazing stuff. I love it that I'm still in their heads and they're still thinking about me. I must be doing something right, mustn't I? But there we go. Cheers says, hi all, please remember to keep comments respectful. Super chats are available on the bottom right hand corner if you wish to donate. Join for only 99p and enjoy the show. Hey Jess, thank you, you're a kind man, says Leslie. It's good to see you awake, Leslie. Roger's in the house. Ian's in the house. I predicted top 4 before the season started. It's still on. I think a lot of us did, and we kind of fell out of love with the idea of top 4, but we're in the reckoning, aren't we? Hey Ian, hey Roger, and again, Magpie Stew's in the house. Evening, Magpie Stew, how are you doing? Evening, Stew. There's quite a lot of comments here. I'm going to try and catch up as quick as I can. Evening, Gary. There's a lot of them still talking to themselves. I still can't believe how Chris Wood has suddenly turned into Alan Shearer. This is the reason why I've been trolled, because I put out there saying people tried to tell me he was a shit player. Yes, he wasn't good enough for Newcastle at the time with the players we had, but Chris Wood was never a shit player. He was never good enough in a black and white shirt, but if you played to his strengths, he would score goals. A lot of context needs to be put behind that when people, put stuff out. It's really funny. They don't listen to how many times I've defended him on this show and how many times I've defended him in other tweets as well. Evening, Peter. I hope you're well, mate. Years ago, Ian was never any good types of game. We didn't play to his strengths, and Forrester playing to his strengths. It's why he's scoring lots of goals. Why Leeds had him and scored a lot of goals, because they played to his strengths. They had wingers putting crosses in. Blah, 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 blah. Right, we're caught up. Let's get Gary in. Gaza!
You're consistent, Baz, where you're trolling, I tell you. I'll give you that.
I am.
Oh, yeah. Very.
I love getting crap. It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, Gary, how many times on this show did we defend Chris Wood? Not that he was ever good enough for us, because we didn't play to his strengths. And we always said if you play to Chris Wood's strengths, he would score goals. And Nottingham Forest are playing to his strengths. They've got quick wingers and Langer, lad on the other side. They've got Morgan Gibbs-White. They all like putting the ball in, and that's what Chris Wood thrives on.
Look, I wasn't Chris Wood's biggest fan when he was here, but I never slated him like a lot of people did. But I understood why people slated him, because he was poor forward. But we didn't play to his strength. And Leeds did, New Zealand do. We didn't. It's just the way we are. And it's just one of those things. We don't play the way Chris Wood wants to play. And it's just what it is. He's a good player. I still
scored some important goals for us, didn't he?
Yeah, I still don't. I know a lot of people are still a bit disappointed that he's gone, but I don't regret getting rid of him when we did, and I still don't regret it now, because we've got a better striker, and it's just what it is. And good luck with him. I've got nothing against him. Tried his best when he was here. I would put him in probably the Daryl Murphy bracket, that strong type of striker that we had, that came in and did a decent job for us, scored some important goals.
Kept us up.
And remember penalties against Wolves at home and things like that. And good luck with him. He's having a good one.
Southampton when he equalised, John Cho. Yeah. The only time we ever put a ball in on his head.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I mean, Anthony Gordon's put more crosses in the last 2 games than he has his whole Newcastle career. And it's just, and that's not me calling Gordon, that's just saying that's not the way we play. And Isak's not a target man in a box like Alan Shearer was. He's not. That's not his game. So we've got to play it differently, and we just didn't play to Wood's strength. But Forest clearly do. So getting the best out of him.
Second in the league.
I mean, I'm telling you now, if Chris Wood played for Man United, you wouldn't hear Chris Wood's name mentioned, because he'd have about 3 goals.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be getting the service. So
exactly. All credit to Forest for doing that. They've obviously recognised he's the big target man. They bought players around him. and it's working, and all credit to them. But we, as Newcastle fans, the football we've got, the players we've got, we wouldn't go to St James's Park going, "Oh, I can't wait to watch us try and bomb down the wings and put loads of crosses in." It's not how we play football now, is it?
No, it's not.
We're very
It's
intricate.
not.
We play between the lines. You know, our wingers cut inside; they don't go on the outside. Sometimes they do to mix it up, but they're looking to cut inside and score goals, aren't they? And that's why we've got Isak who drifts out and drifts back, and you know, it's just a complete different system.
But to be honest, I mean, if Wood was in our team now, it might be a bit different because Murphy does put more crosses in than Miggy and Gordon do.
Yeah.
But then again, Murphy tends to put ping crosses in, not like ones for his head and stuff. But look at Gordon. Everton fans will tell you he was the worst player in the world, and he's come here and turned into a star, basically. Exactly. Some players just have to go to a certain club, and he's one of them. And good luck to him. He's having a cracking season. Good luck to Forest, all that. And good player, but not for us.
I don't mind Forest doing well. I do a little bit because they did sort of cheat their way to it by getting a points deduction and spending more money than they should have.
Yeah.
However, it's what it is. It's just nice to see other, teams setting the apple cart, isn't it?
Yeah. They did. They went against the rules, but the rules are stupid and shit anyway.
Oh, of course they are.
So I couldn't really care. I mean, Chelsea do it on a regular basis, so I don't know why makes any difference. Rules are shit, and the big teams are starting to discover the rules are shit now, which is probably why one day it will get changed because they're struggling now.
Did you see Stefan's tweet about all the stuff that's been released about Chelsea and saying that everyone's fools if they believe it? I can't wait to get him on and do your request. I asked him and he said he'll come back in January. Really looking forward to speaking to him again because there's also someone I was talking to today. He said we only have 138 million to spend over 3 years. I was like, no, mate, you're completely wrong because that's like 43 million a season. We were trying to spend 70 million on one bloody player. There's a lot of people that aren't understanding the rules, and Stefan, the guy that he is, he's going to explain it all again in January. Let us know where Newcastle technically could be because he looks at all the books. He used to work for Man City in the financial department. I just can't wait to get him back on again just to, try and get everyone singing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to PSR because it is a minefield.
I think Newcastle are probably the ones who are leaking a few little things to the press about PSR problems to get away from the fact that they don't have... Look, I'm not saying Newcastle can go out and spend £100 million in January. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that if a player became available and Newcastle wanted him for what they believe is a good price, they will do the deal. That's what I personally believe. And all this nonsense about they've got to sell all the time it's just nonsense. Look, if we want to transform the team by 3 or 4 players, then maybe we'll have to sell somebody high up. But I cannot see them doing that. I've never thought they were going to go all guns blazing in January anyway. And I think the summer, it seems to be the club are planning for the summer because there's loads of players out of contract and there's no sign of them signing it yet. So I've got no idea who's going to stay right now. I mean, I've heard the odd little rumour about contract signings, but there's still about 6 or 7 players out of contract in the summer.
There is.
So,
I think most of them will leave. Lascelles will leave. Wilson will leave. There's obviously rumours of Sean Longstaff, which I mentioned on the video today.
Callum Wilson.
Well, I've mentioned him. Wilson and Wilson, Lascelles are the definite 2 that the contracts will run out and they'll be gone. And then we've got the likes of Sean Longstaff, Kraft. There's a few others as well who I think are Shaw. I think
Dubravka.
Another year. Dubravka, I think, will go.
I think he'll go.
It's going to be interesting because I've said, there's a potentially we might not do anything in January. Remember, we've got no European football. So our squad right now can cope with the extra games in the cups that we're doing. Yes, we are 1 injury away from a striker of being an issue, but that's been like that for how many seasons now? Do you know what I mean? We've
had Callum Wilson for 3 years now, 4 years, however long.
Exactly.
So we've always had problems and worries that players were going to get injured. I mean, look, I know that's a different show, but I wouldn't be surprised to see we sign maybe a young player for about 15 to 20 million. Maybe that kid we've been linked with the last couple of weeks, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised to see, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happen. But I personally, look, I don't know what it is about Jacob Murphy, but whenever a transfer window comes up, Jacob Murphy seems to put his shooting and assist boots up. And by the end of January, he'll go shit again. And then come the summer, May time, he'll turn into what he does. But
yeah, it's purple patches, shall we say. Purple patches. Always at the right time as well.
Oh, yeah, he's perfect the way he comes out. And like I said, timing's perfect. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a few players leave in January. I.e. Almiron. I can't see Miggy being here.
Well, five could potentially be going out the door. But you also think of Hayden, Jamal Lewis. Who else? Miggy. Who else could be? Some Trips potentially could be leaving.
I mean, look, I don't know about Dubravka, but he's been mentioned as possibly going.
He's the fifth. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think, and I think they're going to take a risk this season because if they don't get Europe, they're not. I don't think they're that bothered as owners. I honestly don't. I know this is going to be a weird for a lot of people out there thinking, "What do you mean they want Champions League football? They want this, they want that." They might not because we don't have the squad to deal with it yet. So I think whatever we do this season's a bonus. And I think the summer will react regardless of what competition we qualify for or no competition. I think we'll go big. Look, that's my personal hope.
Yeah, I want Champions League, right? I'm not going to lie, I do. I think 99% of the fan base will want Champions League, but probably for where we are right now, the Europa League and the Conference League would possibly be a little bit better for us because we're going to rest some players for the competition. Whereas in the Champions League, you can't rest your players. I told you, it's too there's too much quality in there. So, yeah, exactly. And look, if Forest qualify for the Champions League, and people are probably looking now, going, "I'll give out." Well, I'm telling you now, possible, still winning games. And if they do, they're going to have the same problems that us and Villa have had over the last few years because Champions League's hard and domestic league's hard, and it is what it is. We haven't got the squads to deal with. I mean, some of the big teams are struggling with their players at the minute. Man City have had a horrendous year for injuries. So it's like, and it's affected them. So Forest are going to win. Do you know what it is? All joking aside, I've seen people saying Leicester situation, but nobody is stopping Liverpool. Absolutely no chance. The league will be over by March. That's my personal opinion. March, April will be over.
But anyway, going back to the 5 out, what I heard was they want to end this campaign in a plus when it comes to selling. They don't want to be in a minus, and then that gives them a bigger summer. That's what I've heard, and that's what and the way Eddie Howe's body language is and the way he's talking in the press conference, a lot of people say he's just lying. I think there's a bit of both in there. I think he's trying to get rid of the Newcastle tax, but I also think he's trying to play down the expectations of a big January window because we didn't have a big summer. I think he's playing that down because, I mean, didn't they say when they first took over, one marquee signing per window or per summer window? I think it was something like that they said, and we haven't done that this summer. But that's because they've obviously got themselves in a bit of crap. So it's going to be very interesting what happens. I think I'm lowered my expectations down to no signings for January, and anything that does happen, it's a bonus for me. And then I can get
well, I'm at the same, just like I said before. I wouldn't be surprised to see a young signing for maybe 15 to 20 million or something. But I haven't been expecting anything big. I think they've probably got their idea who they want on the right wing, but chances of that player being available in January is very low. And do you know what it is? January's been getting worse and worse and worse every year. And since PSR's coming even more, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And your days of having fantastic deadlines, days are just gone. Because they're not going to happen anymore. January's
gone.
You know what it is? At some point, I mean, it's going to be a waste of time. January clubs are probably going to want that shut and all because they're going to be losing players in the middle of the season, and because of PSL, they can't replace.
But Sky Sports
Sure.
don't want that ended because we saw all the viewings that they used to get. I mean, remember we used to have that it's the biggest transfer window ever. You know, Sky are missing out on a lot, and people are starting to turn Sky off because there's nothing to talk about. They're making stuff up now just to make shows. They're getting YouTubers in because they don't want to pay big money for other people because there's nothing really happening. People aren't interested anymore because they know the January window we're not going to see dildos in the ears anymore. We're not going to see, do you know what I mean? We're not going to see On and Wiggy down at Queen's Park Rangers trying to force a move. You know, all that's gone. Everything's just, all the dramatics has disappeared from the January window. And it's so sad because we all used to look forward to January just for the January window. We hated work. We didn't want to go to work, but we knew it was a January window and we knew there was going to be 100 million potentially spent on players. Or £1 billion spent on players. You know what I mean? It's just gone.
They've took the fun away from it, man, because they thought they were protecting certain clubs, but them certain clubs are starting to struggle. And i.e. your Man Uniteds and stuff like that. They're just, and this is why one day it'll get scrapped. And that's why the Super League is continuing to rear its head, because they know that they're not going to just sit there and not be told that you can't spend any money, and that's what the Super League are wanting. I'll tell you what, if they scrap PSR, the Super League's gone.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
The Super League done. And they know that.
Let's jump in on that. You've got to remember the famous video. Was it at Stoke? Was it Stoke?
I can't remember. It might have been Arsenal. I can't remember. It was...
I'm sure it was a small team. I'm sure it was Stoke.
Was it?
Like that, and there was a guy that literally the presenter was doing his stuff for the January window, and some guy walked up behind him and started putting a dildo in his ear when he was live on Sky Sports. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I remember. I just can't remember which club it was, which fan base it was. I can't remember.
West Brom, maybe. Honestly, it was someone like that. I'm sure it was.
Possibly.
Sure
I mean,
the chat will know.
I'll tell you one thing. It wasn't us, because we always had shit deadline days apart from Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll was the only one, and that was us not getting anything out of it. And it was, Downey's always been at Sunderland, hasn't he? He's never been goes to ours in the morning, and then by 11 o'clock, he's away on deadline day. He's never back at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Google it and watch it, because it's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. People know what I'm talking about. I'm not just making that up. Right, let's get on to the game tomorrow. I don't know about you, but like it feels like only yesterday we just beat Villa, because we're still all talking about it. We're still drinking the Villa tears of their sending off of Duran, which was a sending off. I don't care what Shearer says and Gary Lineker says. The laws of the game, you can't do what he did. We've discussed it in length, so we're not going to talk about that. Man United got humped off Wolves. I watched the game. I thought Wolves were excellent. Bruno Fernandes did not fancy that game, and that's why he got himself sent off. He got 2 yellow cards. He should have been sent off for a straight red 5 minutes before it. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, terrible.
I think Man United fans are right. I don't think he fancied it. Now, whether he was trying to get himself some time off, and he did it on purpose, or he just wanted to get off the pitch, I'm not quite sure. But he did not. Mind who looks like they do fancy it for them at the minute? It's
probably Harry Maguire. Everyone slates him, but Harry Maguire is probably one of the most. Yeah. He's probably the consistent player for Man United at the moment, and he's
probably. I mean, you'll have seen this as well. I don't think I've ever known Newcastle be favourites for the bookies to win at Old Trafford. I don't think I've ever seen that. And right now, I think they're favourites. And
I think the closest is probably back in the Keegan days.
Yeah, and even then you were telling good Fergie's Man United. And
yeah, exactly.
I've never, it's unheard of for me. And I saw glimpses of the Wolves game. I didn't see everything, but I just saw Manchester United and everything of what they are this season, which is a bunch of players who really don't give a shit. A club that is falling to bits and will never get any better. It doesn't matter how many managers you hire, will never get any better until they get rid of the main problem, which is the Glazers. Now, until they get rid of the Glazers, they are going to... All Ineos are doing is taking all the shit now for the Glazers. They're just sitting there with their feet up, laughing away. And they're going to continue to decline. And listening to it at the minute, we've got PSR problems. Apparently, they are majorly in the shit. If you hear some Man United journalists, big
They
time.
are. And I'm all for it. I mean, they've spent so much money on potential talent, they called it. I mean, Anthony. I mean, some people say we should buy him for our right wing. And I'm thinking, Jesus, I know Gordon, we turned him into a gem, but I just can't see it with him.
No, do you know what it is? He's look, Eddie Howe could probably get something out of him, but I don't think it'd be any better than Jacob Murphy's giving you right now. Yeah. And it's look, I've run through the Man United team as much as you like. You get told he's a good player and he's a good player. And I mean, when I look at their team now, there's only one player in their side that I would put in our starting lineup. And I'm being serious there. Man United fans will probably think I'm nuts, but Diallo's the only one I would put in our team right now on the right
wing.
Yeah,
I think
and
I saw
the rest
someone
of them
do a comparison team, and that was the only one they had in there. And I was thinking, Jesus,
it's true, bro. It's true.
Million in clubs and unpaid fees, and have 1 billion plus in debt. How is that sustainable? I honestly, this is what drives me nuts, and this is a big question we'll be asking Stefan when he comes on, because that's something he can answer. And hopefully give us a reason why they're allowed to. I know it's all to do with turnover, and their turnover is something like 3 billion a year or something like that. And that's the reason why. Because I think they can basically clear the debt when they want. They just don't, because they just take the money out. It's something stupid like that. But it'll bite them in the balls eventually.
Oh, 100%. It's coming. And this is coming from Man United journalists. This is not coming from fans guessing. They say Man United are in deep shit and they're losing millions every week. So...
And do you know what it is? I haven't looked at the league table that far down, because I only like looking at the league table, where we are. But they are literally 14th with 22 points, and they're 8 points off the drop.
And you know what is
crazy?
They've got us next, right? Yep. For me, it's which Newcastle United turns up. And then they've got to go to Liverpool. I mean... And do you know what it is?
2 games where your goal difference could easily take a hit of -12, couldn't it? And that's not me saying we're going to score 6. That's me saying Liverpool are probably going to score 8. Because after watching the last 2 games, they've took the foot off the gas with 20 minutes to go, and they've won 3-1, 5-0.
You know what it is? I could be completely wrong here, but I'm absolutely convinced that Eddie Howe will come out to the players, whether that's today or tomorrow, and say, get a goal in the first 10 minutes, you'll beat these. Because they'll crumble. They will crumble. I've seen them do it all season. And they haven't got the balls to come back when they go behind. And the fans will jump on the back straight away. They'll go flat and they'll not know what to do. And I think Eddie will say, go out in the first 10 minutes and show these. They'll not come out all guns blazing in the first 10 minutes. They won't do it, because that's not the way they are. And if we do it, get an early goal.
It could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're going to go out and beat Man United comfortably, because we said it last season. We went to Old Trafford in form. We were the team chasing 6th spot. Chelsea were up our backsides, and we're all thinking, well, we've got Man United behind us as well. We're not really worried about them. We're going to beat them at Old Trafford. They're not in any form. And then suddenly, Bruno Fernandes turns into a magician again, and they beat us 3-2. And we only make the scoreline close when Lewis Hall gets his first goal for the club, and it was a cracking strike. But that was right near the end of the game, wasn't it? So
yeah,
you can never write off Man United at Old Trafford, can you?
No, and I mean... Do you know what it is? I watched Bournemouth win 3-0 a few weeks ago, and maybe it's because I've watched Newcastle since I was like 10 years old, but I've always got it in the back of my head that they'll slip up at some point and then they'll go on a run again, and it's just the Newcastle way. And I'm never 100% confident going into a game with Newcastle. It can be Southampton at home, it can be Barcelona away, whoever, Man United away, whoever. I'm never 100% confident. And it's just being a Newcastle. That's what being a Newcastle fan is. But there's no doubt, in form, on form, players where the clubs are, the shit that's going on at both clubs, we are miles ahead of these right now.
Oh yeah.
Like literally, and we will never have a better chance to beat Man United at Old Trafford than we do tomorrow.
I
They've
agree
got
with
some big suspensions, and Man United fans can go on all they want about Fernandes being out to bonus. Some of them saying every time that bugger turns it on when he plays us, he
Does, yeah.
seems to have this, and I'm glad he's out.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
if
the
you
Bruno v Bruno conversation, isn't it? I reckon he knows about that. Obviously, we're saying, Bruno's the best in the league. They're saying Bruno's best in the league. And let's face it, after last season, yes, our Bruno is better, but he didn't turn up at Old Trafford, and their Bruno did. So he kind of silenced that a little bit, didn't he? And he always does.
And if you listen to, I mean, they've got Ugarte who's out as well, and
he's out.
If you listen to Man United fans, they'll tell you he's been probably one of the better players this season, and it's the biggest blow is him being out. So to lose two of your main midfielders who would have definitely started tomorrow for them, to go up against Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton is difficult, because if them three are on it tomorrow, like they've been in the last few weeks, Newcastle will win that game comfortably, 100%. And because they haven't got the midfield to do it. And there's even I don't know how strong this rumour is, but I've saw Man United fans saying that Kobe Mainoo was limping at the end of the game at Wolves, holding the back of his hamstring. Now, I haven't heard anything about him being out, but if he has got a little bit of a slight hamstring injury, and he's going to start tomorrow against R3, it honestly will never have a better chance. Never.
No, you won't. Let's talk about Man United. Let's talk about Jacob Murphy. Look at that smile. I mean, this is a guy who probably smiles a little bit because he's been putting the bins out. I don't know what it looks a lot easier these days, pushing a button and all that sort of stuff. But for him to stop and just have a chat and make this guy's year, which you'll be talking about this for the rest of his life probably. You know, the time that I got the chance to speak to Murphy putting his bin out, absolutely fantastic stuff. I mean, we love Jacob Murphy. We know we need a better right winger going forward. He's in a great purple patch, but that just shows you what, the personal side of him, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always defended Murphy. I've always thought he had something. And I'm not going to lie, I've always preferred him to Miggy. Even, I know it's divided, people like, I prefer Miggy, he prefers Murphy's. I've always been a Murphy over Miggy person. I don't know why. I find Murphy's a bit more old-fashioned for me. He runs up the right and puts a cross in, which I love seeing anyway. And yeah, he knacks some of his crosses up, but you can't deny that in the last 5 or 6 games, he's been pretty good. Honestly, what's he got? 3 goals, 6 assists or something this season?
He's been involved in every single game with an assist or a goal in the last 5 games. I think it was. I put up. It was either the last 4 games. I think I put it up. He's been fantastic. But
I mean, he's the complete opposite of Miggy. He's got a great right foot shot, but his left foot shot is shit. And I wish he would stop doing it. But
he can't hit it with his left foot, and you never know. Just one day, one of them will go. And if it's tomorrow, fair play.
Do you know what it is? Their goalkeeper and all, I'd be shooting all the time against him.
He's terrible.
And if I was Murphy, they can't defend corners or crosses either. I would be putting as many crosses in as possible, because I think Murphy's had. You can't deny he's had a very good season, and he's played better than Barnes has this year. And I think he's proved that. I mean, I'm not saying Barnes hasn't done things this season, because he has. He's won more points, but you can tell, even though I think Harvey Barnes is the better footballer right now, Murphy gives us better balance on the right than Barnes does. I'm not a fan of Barnes on the right. And like I said, until we get our right winger, I'm quite happy to stick with Murphy. And he'll score with some goals, he'll assist some, and he'll have some poor games. That's just what it is. And But he's a Newcastle fan as well, so he'll be having the time of his life. He's always got a smile on his face, and for a small bloke, he's like not scared to take the piss either. So
I love his.
yeah, oh yeah, there's been a few of the waves and everything like that, so it's like he's not scared. So
I love it.
I mean, you just know.
I'll tell you how bad things are at Man United. You know, when you get like you look at stats and you look at like the head-to-heads tomorrow, like what's going to be the big head-to-head matchup? What do you think it is?
The big head-to-head tomorrow.
Yeah. Just have a wild guess.
I'm guessing Isak against somebody. That's what I'm guessing. But no.
On stats, the big matchup is Harry Maguire against J7.
Are you joking?
That's how bad Man United are. That is how bad they are. They are literally saying their defender is the biggest matchup with Joe Linton. He's got a 7.2 rating, Harry Maguire, and Joe Linton's got an 8.5 in the last game. So they are the two informed players for each team.
Two informed players from each team.
Yeah. That shows you how bad Man United are, because you tell me, when was the last time you ever thought Harry Maguire was worthy of that kind of accolade, being the form player? It's crazy. Well, absolutely crazy.
Look, to be honest, if it's the PSR thing, I mean, I know this is not the Man United show, but if PSR wasn't around, Man United could probably spend a bit more money, even though they haven't got it. They could spend a bit more money, but they just can't. They've spent that much money on absolute shit. I mean, I saw them linked with a young striker the other day, and I'm thinking, you've already got two young strikers who are doing absolutely nothing for you. Yeah. When are you going to go out as a football club, use your brain and think, right, we need to start from the bottom in here, and maybe get a few experienced Premier League players in who aren't big names, but who are going to come in and do a bit of a job for them. And they don't do it. They continue not to do it.
We shouldn't be looking at short term. We should be looking at long term. It's just a mess, isn't it?
It's an absolute farce. And I've already seen Man United fans calling for the manager. Do you know what it is? How many frigging managers are you going to sack before you realise they're not the major problems? But that's their problem, not ours. You know what I mean? Let them get on with it. And it's even if Man United somehow do manage to win tomorrow, in 2 weeks' time, they'll lose another 3 or 4 games, because that's just what happens with them.
Well,
and
that's their form at the minute. Lost 2, won 1, lost 2, and that was the Man City game in between it, where everyone was beating Man City. And let's face it, they never looked like beating Man City in that game.
No, they were lucky. They were lucky. They were lucky that Diallo scored a bloody good goal at the end, a determined goal, and that was it. They were lucky.
Yeah, it was a great goal, great touch, great finish. Right, let's not talk about Man United. I've seen a few pre-match channels from Man United, and each person was asked, what do you fear from Newcastle? Answers were Isak, corners, Joe Linton, set pieces, Gordon, bench, trips, your manager, your fans. So everything, basically.
I watched the Man United podcast show, and they were terrified of our pace.
Yeah.
And every one of them seems to be the problem that Anthony Gordon, Isak, are going to cause them major problems. And then they said, because we're so weak in midfield, and this is what they said, they don't like a battle in the middle of the park. They're worried about our press and our commitment in the middle. And
well, the press is going to kill them, because they like a Warner playing off on the back, and he can't do it properly, can he? Or he can, but he always makes a mistake.
I mean, you and me both know that Casemiro is going to start tomorrow. Now, this is not the Casemiro of 5 years ago.
We'll come to that in a bit, because according to the stats, he might be, but we'll come to that soon.
Right.
I want to jump on this one. When we play well, it's like he's got to move from NUFC, but it's not reality. We're fifth. We're a top club ourselves. It's rubbish. Anthony Gordon says Ugarte Bruno and Koa are ignoring rumours, and they are target winning things this season. I love listening to Gordon. He's just
he's defending his club
on, and he's brilliant, and he's right about the players as well. Though Bruno's not going to go anywhere unless someone offers 100 million. Isak's not going anywhere unless someone pays 150 million. There's no one in world football willing to pay those fees, so we're not worried, are we?
No, but Stefan's just said it. He's just said it on Twitter. He says, look, you can put these Isak rumours out all you want. Newcastle have said, I mean, even not the journalist you had on, even the winter guy, he's just said tonight that Isak, he's perplexed as to how they can demand that much. Well, that means because they don't want to sell him, you daft prick.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like we can, just like Palace did was, they can charge what they want for a player, right? Yeah. We don't want to lose these players. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think they're wanting to jump anyway.
No.
They're fifth in the league. They're fifth in the league. They're happy.
Wait. The scoring goals again. Everyone seems to be in sync. Why would you want to risk going to it?
Exactly. It's like, look, if Real Madrid come in for you, then yeah, your head might be swayed, right? Because it's Real Madrid. But it's like when you keep hearing Chelsea and Arsenal and
yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
I understand why they've got a lot of money. They just seem to keep on spending it, but they aren't going to fork out 150 million.
I mean, look, it's like when we're like when Mbeumo, like, right. Would Mbeumo come if the deal was accepted? Yeah, he would. But I don't think he's sitting there going, I'm going to put in a transfer request because I want to go to Newcastle. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not like Real Madrid coming in for these players. And when have you ever seen Bruno Guimaraes look like a player wanted to get out of Newcastle? There's one player in this team who would not want to jump out of this football club. It's Bruno Guimaraes. Exactly. And but honestly, good for Gordon to defend the club.
This is why everyone's talking about Isak, though. He's fifth in that list. You know, he's got 33 goals and assists in 2024. Mo Salah's just on another level at the moment. Cole Palmer's been absolutely fantastic. Haaland's just battered the smaller team, scoring hat-tricks, and then he's just fallen off the planet.
Well, not be assist with him, I know that'll be
no, exactly. Cool. And Saka's been brilliant as well. And look, there's that little shit there in 6, Bruno Fernandes. I'm so glad he's not playing tomorrow. I really honestly, if he was playing tomorrow, I'm delighted. I would be worried because it's Man United at Old Trafford and it's Bruno Fernandes who always plays well against us. When I heard he wasn't playing, I was buzzing.
Yes, so was that.
But that's the reason why everyone's talking about Isak at the moment, and you know, because he is absolutely fantastic. I have kids, but as you know what it's like, and I'm in and out of the room. Not when I'm on a show. Don't see any kids or hear them, do you, mate? You should be concentrating. It is a genius because it just puts everyone off. Even Sonali called St James's Park Hollow Ground. Exactly. If we somehow win the Carabao Cup and finish top 4 or 5 this season with the likes of Bruno, I think Newcastle is the place to be. 100%. Even if we don't win the Carabao Cup and we finish in the top 6, they'll still think it's the place to be. He's come out and said that. He doesn't, you know, he wants to be a legend. He is a legend anyway, to be fair, but there you go. Just running off. Yeah, you keep mentioning that though, and remembering that, don't you? Tononi's really exciting me. We're starting to see the Italian press called him the golden one. He's been superb. Even Michael, I wish we'd start and turning the tables, talking the so-called big clubs, big top players. We will eventually. It will happen. Right, let's have a look at what our potential lineup could be. There's only one talking point for me, and that is the right-back situation. Trips is doubtful. Tino's doubtful. Tino's been ill. Trips, according to Eddie Howe, he said it was just fatigue, but he did hold his hamstring when he went down. So I don't know whether he's playing mind games or not. And that potentially means Target could come in at right back. What do you make of that situation? Do you think either one of them could play 45 minutes each, maybe? Tino plays 45, Trips plays 45?
I think Tino will be fine.
Do you think?
I think it'll be Tino. I'm not sure about Trippier. You know what Eddie's like? He doesn't like to push players too much if he doesn't think they're 100%. And if Tino Livramento was just ill, I kind see him. I think it'll be him tomorrow. And I think Trippier will either be out or on the bench.
Yeah, this is it, Peter. We don't know whether it was. I mean, apparently Eddie Howe after the press conference says it was just cramp or it was fatigue, but you just never know with him because he knows the situation at right back at the moment. He doesn't want to give Man United any hope.
No, I mean, whatever happens in the next 2 games, there's no. If Trippier is fit and he starts Trippier, you can guarantee Tino will play at Tottenham because he's not going to continue to play at Trippier every game. It's not going to happen.
Ooh,
Because he knows at his age and everything like that, he's not going to be able to do it anymore. And it happens a lot now with Trippier. I know he hasn't played much football recently, but he does go down near the end of the game a lot now. And it's just because of his age. And it is what it is. But I think Tino Livramento will be fit tomorrow. I think he'll start.
Well said, Gary. I like that. Michael did say that Tino has overcome his illness, which is brilliant. So it'd probably be Tino who starts then. I'd rather play Trips and reckon Botman will be a sneaky bench player. You never know. I'm not going to say no to that.
I've heard when Botman's going to make his debut, maybe his return.
FA Cup game?
Yep, that's what I've heard. Now, it's probably, a lot of people know that anyway, but I think that's always been the plan. That he will start against Brighton.
Because it's a simple game for him. Right, Man United's lineup, all in its glory. Now, according to this, Eriksen and Manu will be starting in midfield, and Casemiro won't be. They'll play a free. I don't even know how this works, to be honest with you, but they're playing a 3-4-3 by the looks of it, or it's a 3-4-2-1. I mean, that defence doesn't worry me. We've got the pace to beat them. That midfield with Eriksen in it's slow, but he's a clever player. So, we loved Eriksen, didn't we, when we were watching him at Brentford? Yeah. We would love to sign him. There's just not many goals in it. Look at the ratings as well. I mean, if Euro plays at a 6.42 on that right-hand side of the defence against Anthony Gordon, Gordon's going to kill him.
I'm not gonna lie. If that's the starting lineup tomorrow, right? I will be one happy man with that midfield. I'm not gonna eat yet. That midfield, them two in the middle, will not be able to cope with our three.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely no chance, none whatsoever. Casemiro might be finished, right? But I would 100% start him against our midfield. 100%. And he can't play them two. That's too weak. That is way too weak against us. I mean, let him get on with it. But
potentially what they have available, though, because like you mentioned, Casemiro limped off and they're putting him down as doubtful. So they're saying that he's not.
Well, he limped off now, did he? God. And so, it's like, obviously they've got Dalot and Mazraoui who do that, like that wing back type thing.
But they're literally going to be playing as right back and left backs, aren't they, against us? Because they're not going to have the ball far enough up the pitch to be wing backs.
No, I mean the defense, the back three is okay, right? But I personally can't see him playing them three. I think he'll play Maguire. So, because there's rumours Maguire's going to take the captain's armband. So, I think he'll put De Ligt in. I think he'll play the Butcher. Freaking Butcher. I always laugh when I hear that name, the Butcher. Fuck me, honestly.
It makes you wonder why maybe Maguire's not, especially when it has Maguire down as like the highest rated player, and then against Joe Linton. But then according to this, Mason Mount's out, Luke Shaw's out, there's a surprise. Lindelof's out, Bruno Fernandes is suspended, and Manuel Ugarte suspended. So, I mean, this is probably just a load of rubbish, but this is the team that SofaScore put up, so that's why I use it, because I don't want to try and work out what Man United are going to play. It's none of my business.
You know, when I look at that team, right, the first thing that comes to my head is Jacob Murphy could be a very key player for us tomorrow, because I've never rated the Butcher, right? I know they think he's class and all that, but every time I watch him, he's always on the deck, or he cannot win a header, or this, that, and the other. I just didn't rate him. I never have to. And Dalot, I think, is an average footballer.
Me too.
I know a Man United fan, and even he said he's an average footballer. I think Mazraoui is not a bad player. I think he's probably been one of the better players this season. But then again, he's up against Anthony Gordon, and Gordon's on form. Gordon at the weekend was the closest I've seen to Anthony Gordon in his prime for us when he had that season. That's the closest I've seen. Cutting in and hitting a shot like that. And I think Gordon's starting to play now because Lewis Hall is just pulling players out with his run. And that's how that goal happened at the weekend. Lewis Hall made a run up the side, pulled players across to stop the run. Gordon come in, shot, bang. And that's how that goal happened. And it's that midfield. If I find out that Ericsson and Mino in the middle, I will be very happy with that. I think Ericsson.
I can see Casemiro being in there, but again, I think Casemiro is a walking red card against us because he won't.
100, but well, he's not the player he used to be, and it's like, yeah, I think he's still a decent player, but it's not. He's not somebody that frightens me. I mean, Fernandes and Ugarte would have been that middle too. So it's well, some people like Dalot. I mean, a lot like Man United fans like Dalot, some of them, but I've spoken to a few, and I think he's average. And it's.
I do as well.
I think the only threat for me is Diallo. If we keep Diallo quiet, and I cannot see Rashford making a recovery into the lineup either. I think that's done.
I think he's off January 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's really upset the manager. So it's in Highland. Look, Dan Burn's done enough for me this season and cope with enough strikers this season to tell me you'll be able to cope with Highland, because I keep hearing that Highland's quite physical. Well, not from what I see of him.
No, he's not.
He can't. No.
Player, to be fair, he's actually got feet. I feel a little bit sorry for him because if he went anywhere else, if he went to someone like Chelsea or if he went to someone like Liverpool, I reckon he'd score more goals than Nunes.
Yeah,
because I think he's a better footballer. I know people are going to think what, but I actually think Highland is actually a decent player. They just don't play to his strengths, and he's playing in a very poor Man United team. I'm hoping he plays Maguire, De Ligt, and Martinez at the back, because Isak will tear them three apart. Yeah. Yoro is a bit more quicker. He's a bit more pacey. And if anybody can cope with Isak better, it's him. Now, he was on the bench last game, so see what happens. But if he plays that back three, I'll be happy with that. Maguire and for Yoro, which I think will happen. Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't see him not playing Maguire.
Right, very quickly before we go to the next bit, don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It really helps. There is a membership option if you would like to. It really helps to keep the channel running for free, and then we donate money to charity. We are currently sitting at £6,700 raised in the last 3 years for charity, so we're doing our best. So we love it if more people can get involved and help us to do that. What else we got? We got Diacro, an amazing sponsor. We'll give away a $40 gift card every month for the channel, so I'll be doing that next month. Baz 20 for 20% off for all their merchandise, cracking stuff that got not just Newcastle stuff. Have a look around, really good stuff. And we got football prizes. This one's finished, but these are the sort of prizes that do. They're absolutely bespoke, amazing prizes. There's only so many raffle tickets at a great price. Link is in the description. The next one will be out in the next couple of days, I think, so keep an eye out for it, and we'll obviously advertise it when it's live as well. But they're a great company. Link is in the description for both of them. And finally, if you want to meet all of us live, so there's Ian, myself, John, and Superfan Dan, if you want to come along, hopefully Gary's going to turn up as well. We'll be at Newcastle Benfield Football Club with Luke Edwards as a special guest to talk about the January window, which is probably not a lot to talk about, but you can ask Luke Edwards, who's a great reporter, loads of questions about what happens behind the scenes. And all the money raised is going to Stanley Deaf Club and the NUFC Food Bank. We have a raffle for the night as well, which will be a Gaza signed shirt and a Alan Shearer, Nobby Solano signed photograph as well. It's quite a big photograph. It's not a small one. It's really nice. If you want some tickets, superfandan at 831@gmail.com, £10 a ticket, you know, and it's going to a great cause. All the money's going to the great cause. And yeah, just to all the trolls. I love that picture. I just love showing it just for any reason I can. The charity night won't be live though, guys. It's something that's always never recorded because it means we can ask Luke Edwards some very personal questions when it comes to Newcastle, and we keep it in-house sort of thing. So yeah, so it won't unfortunately be live, but if you get your tickets, you can watch it live. I have to say, if we win less than 6-0, I'll feel a little bit at some point. Jesus, Gary, you've got your expectations set very high.
I'd take a 2-1 victory right now.
I would. I'd take a 1-0
100%.
just 3 points. I love an inflatable lawnmower costume. Oh, Jesus. The reason why we say we just love a victory, we love a 1-0, a 2-1. They beat us 3-2. We beat them 3-0 in the Carabao Cup, which was an amazing result, by the way. I'm not discrediting that result. We were fantastic that night, but it's not 3 points in the league, is it? Man United weren't really that bothered about that. The season before that, they beat us 2-0. We went to Old Trafford in 2022 in October and drew 0-0. Joe Linton hit the post when he should have scored, and we should have beat them that day. That was one of Ronaldo's last games for Man United. Before that, Ronaldo returned, beat us 4-1. They beat us 3-1. They beat us 4-1. They beat us 3-2. They beat us 4-1. We drew 0-0 in 2015. 2014, they beat us 3-1. And we have to go back to December 2013 when Johan Cabaye scored the winner when we beat them 1-0. That was the last time we beat them at Old Trafford. So we really, really want to see a win. I'd love a new 5 past 1 and just for a repeat of the skit. I love it. Right, guys, get all your predictions in because we're going to go to that side of it now. First of all, we're going to talk about the league table because this is where we currently sit. 7th after today's results. It was looking a lot worse because Fulham were winning. Man City have gone back ahead of us now after their win today. It's only took them God knows how long. Was it 14 games that they hadn't won?
Something like that, yeah.
And that's not all competitions, of course, not the Premier League. But Forest into second, literally the only ones really chasing Arsenal, chasing Liverpool, sorry, at the moment. I mean, Arsenal, I just think it's Liverpool's title to lose. I think you're the same guy. But
yeah, it's already over for me. Liverpool fans will think
I wouldn't go. I'll tell you why, because the away games, they've only played 2 of the top 10 sides away from home so far this season. So, they've got momentum. As long as they win a few of them, they'll be fine. But until they've come up against a few more big teams away from home, I wouldn't want to put their name on the title yet.
Yeah.
I want to see how they go first.
You know the problem I've got though is I just think if Liverpool do cock a game up, I just don't trust the chasing pack. And I think Arsenal in the next few weeks will have a dodgy result. I mean, they're at Brentford tomorrow, I think, and that's not going to be easy.
That's tough.
And Man City, I watched City the day away to Leicester, and I know they won, but God Almighty, this is not Manchester City. Leicester have already missed an absolute sitter and stuff like that, and I just think the chasing pack will falter, just like Chelsea did at home to Fulham. Wow. And I think Forest. Do you know what it is? I think Forest will personally stay up there, but they will hit. I mean, they've got Liverpool soon, and that's a big test for them. So, it's the chasing pack for me. I just didn't think they'll be consistent enough to do it.
Yeah, I sort of agree, unfortunately, because I want to see a title race, but there isn't a title race this year, is there really?
Yeah.
But 3 points tomorrow puts us back into 5th. It'll put us a point ahead of Man City. It's going to be so tight chasing those top spots, and we've got to really be putting Man United and Spurs away like most teams are at the moment because they're struggling with their teams. Let's have a look at what the scores are being predicted, then we'll get yours, and we've got Yin's to listen to as well. I just need to go back because there's some funny score lines in this. 11-0. Yeah. 11-0, 7-1. Born of this 1-0, we're going to make a statement tomorrow to show that there's been a changing of the guards and we're kicking ass 0-5. We're the only United in town tomorrow. Just remember that, everyone. 27-0 or how out. Love it. 4-1, Peter Griffin. I like it. Mogul's back. Yes, he is. We will win 3-1. Their goal will be a freak on goal of Dan Burns' left testicle. 4-1, but I would like a clean sheet. I would love a clean sheet again. Mine was a half-time. Forest being second makes our away win against them look even better. Exactly. We actually played them off the park as well. A draw would be fine, says Ian. I mean, do you know what it is? A draw away from home at Old Trafford doesn't sound like a bad result, but the way that they are at the moment, I would class it as a bad result. And that's just me being we're so much better than them at the moment.
I think a draw at Tottenham's a good result.
Yes, they're a little bit
even though Tottenham
terrible.
have got injuries and they're hit and miss, I would still take a draw. But I would be disappointed if we didn't win tomorrow.
Yeah, I would be as well. I mean, Spurs could still score goals. That's the thing. They're still a threat. And if they get on a roll, it could be difficult. Right, let's listen to Ian's prediction. It's not very long, so here we go.
Well, good afternoon, and this is my match prediction for our game against Manchester United. I think the way we are playing, normally I would go to Manchester United and be a little bit worried, but I think they're there for the taking. And I think it's both teams will score, and I think we'll win 2-1. That'll do me. How are the lads?
2-1 win. So he's been very conservative, but he still thinks we're going to get the win. I mean, I would take it, to be honest with you. What are you going for? What's your result?
I'm basing this off that I think Newcastle are going to come out all guns blazing. I think they're going to get an early goal. I think they'll win 3-1.
I'm the same. I'm going to go 3-1. I did all right on my Super 6 today as well. At one point, I had 16 points. I think I ended up with 14. So I've ended up with 13. So I'm in a bit of a rich vein of form of getting the results right. So I got 5 out of 6. So I think we're going to win 3-1. So I think you should get your money on 3-1.
I think their goal will come from us being 3-0 up, and they'll get a goal in it. That's
last
what I think.
5 minutes or something like that. It'll be like a lack of concentration or something like that. Someone said off Dan Burns' left testicle. You just never know with that man. Anything's possible with him. But that's what we think. I will be live tomorrow at 10 to 8 for the watch along. If you are at home watching the game and you want to join in with the amazing chat that we have, the amazing mods who have kept it going today as well, and everyone who's commented, if you join in tomorrow as well, it makes the game a little bit more enjoyable. And you can listen to my crack about what's going on in the game and what the commentators are saying and putting them in their place, which I always like to try and do. Thanks to Gary, as always, for coming on. I don't know if we'll be doing a review show. I don't know when, because it's going into New Year's Eve, and I've got lots of plans on New Year's Eve, and I'm going to be dead New Year's Day, and then I'm ready back to work. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, but I'm definitely back tomorrow. So take care till then, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 to 8, and we'll take it from there. Over and out.